Evening tubers, it's Sunday night, December 8th. I'm watching Guns of Navarone. We're up in the hobby room. We're in the process of building that. I've got almost the whole fuselage now covered in paper or in the tissue. We've been working on it. Thing with doing tissue is you work on one area and then step away from it and let that dry. So I've got all the tail surfaces all done, and I started on the wings. And last night I did this side, so I'll have to sand this down, trim it up, and we'll go. I do this a lot different than everybody else does it. You can get this, it's called Dope actually, it's Super Coat from SIG. It is called Dope. I got the blue here because I was thinking of going to use it on this. But this stuff stinks. You can't use it in the house. I mean, this stinks worse than lacquer and enamel paint. And so, yeah, see Dope right there. And so, what I do is I take a mix of 50%, or actually, let's say 1 container full of water and 1 container full of Elmer's glue, and I mix it together, and that's what I use to shrink the the tissue and to set it on here. And as you can see, it does a pretty good job. So, but yeah, granddaughters are going to be here probably in about 13 days, and I'm going to ask each one of them. Let's go in here, master bedroom. I'm going to ask each one of them what model do they want me to build, because I definitely have a few kits. That's a die cast, so it's new in the box. It hasn't been opened. And then those are all Dale Jr. cars. And this is an old Sterling, and I'm thinking of putting this on eBay because it's another radio-controlled boat. What the heck's this? Oh, it's a big block Chevy motor, 1/24 scale for that kit right there. Okay. And I think this is stuff for the Missouri kit that's right there, and that's another Sterling kit. But I'm thinking of putting this one on eBay. It's I don't know if I can. I don't know if you can see it. It's a cabin cruiser. It's called the Corvette, 42-foot Corvette. So, but yeah, these two F4 kits I originally started. I was going to sit there and build one, my first airplane here at Nellis, and my last airplane up at Hill Air Force Base. First one was a C model, and the last one was a D model. But then there was one in here I was thinking of doing for you, Hazy. I wasn't sure. I think that's this kit, but I got to kick that around again. I got two XB70s. That's that one there, and then that's this one there. Two different kits. That's a collector's kit. So, but I suspect one of the girls is going to pick this. But we'll see what they come up and say. So, let's go back into the hobby room. So, I've been coming up here at night and just doing tissue. Tissue starts off like this. Once it gets wet, it shrinks up. And again, like I say, this stuff stinks. It's nasty. And it's pretty expensive, $8.99 for this little bottle. So I thought of doing it that way, and I went back to the way I was taught a long time ago on doing the Elmer's glue. Get yourself a little shot glass and just, I mean, at a time I'll mix it up just about this much. And that'll give me enough. I suspect by tonight I'll have the last probably two panels left on the fuselage to do. And maybe do both wing tips, get those done. I still have to go up to here. In other words, this panel needs to have tissue on it, and this one and this one. I like overlapping my joints because once it's all said and done, I'll glue the wings on, put the tail surfaces on, and then I'll spray it with primer, like a 2K primer, and that's going to fill everything. It'll get a wet sanding before it gets painted, but it'll take care of all the small voids and everything else about, like here with the paper where you reinforce the seam or something. So that's it on the Corsair build. Not too much on the Camaro. We're in the process of taking the heater core out because that thing leaked, and that's the second or third time it's leaked on me, and I ain't going back with it. We'll just put a plate on it, and then we'll put the money together, and we'll go with vintage air system in it. But I'm starting to take that out. T-Dub's coming with the stereo equipment. We're ordering the new deck this week, and this will be probably a job over Christmas, and I will, when he's here, and wire up and wire in the stereo, and I'll do video on that. But just show you guys something else that I do. This is the Corsair build. When I get more on this, I'll bring out the camera again. Thanks, guys. Alright, I covered this wingtip, covered this panel, covered that panel. You'll, hold on, let me put the wing down. And then we covered this, and I put a patch over there, and did this one. So in the morning, I'll turn on the camera when it's all dried up, and you'll see that it'll come out looking just like that. So when I get more in the morning, I'll turn it back on later. Morning, tubers. It's about 6:45, Monday, December 9th, and you can see how much this is dried up. And all we do is take an X-Acto knife and we'll trim that back. There's the center panel we did last night. There's the other wing panel we did last night. You look at it, it's pretty thick now with the water and the glue on it. But yeah, fuselage came out beautiful. We did this panel last night. We did this panel last night, and we did this panel last night. Now tonight we'll do this one, and start in the back tail. But yeah, so as you can see, it came out nice. Again, what I'll end up doing is I'll end up light sanding it very lightly, you know, to get some, excuse me, like this little imperfection out. And then it'll be sprayed with Rattle Can 2K, and then we'll work on a few other things if we got some puttying to do or whatever to sit there and make it. Usually around the wing roots end up usually where it has to be puttied. So let's just set this here like this and see the gap that's going to be there. That's better. Actually, it would be better, but I'm just setting it and trying to do this one-handed. But usually that's where you end up throwing a little putty down. And so this is my nighttime, what I do at night. And then today we were working on the ATC 70 and the Camaro. Today we're going to probably try to take the heater controls out of the Camaro. So, you can see the sun just starting to come up. In my bedroom now. Yeah, the sun's starting to come up. So, we'll pick this up in the garage later. Okay, we're down in the garage now. We did get the plate off. Pat sat there and smashed holes in there and there, and we were able to put the puller and then pull it off. So we got the old one off finally. I've cleaned out, drained the oil, cleaned off the pan. I got a spray in here with probably brake clean or something to get all the aluminum out of there and spray it all down and get it all clean. And I'll finish cleaning it up and we'll start putting it back together this weekend and go from there. That's one project that's going to be this week. Next one is taking out the heater controls for the heater and disconnecting the cabling, getting that out of the way before we put the stereo in. And then I'll pop the hood and I'm going to start taking out the heat box, or the heater box out of this thing. And I'll put a plate on. And we just won't, we'll wait for me to put the money together. And it's always was a plan to put vintage air in here. So if we drive it in the wintertime, we just have to put on more clothes, that's all. So that's all we got going on for right now. When I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey tubers, sorry I didn't get the camera on sooner. Yeah, the car's pulled in. I turned it around. Let's get the flashlight. You'll be able to see in there. Glove box is out. There's the door over there. Let's see. Cables have been disconnected. And the one down there. You got the one behind it. That does the defroster and heat door. I gotta get that one. But we'll get that one once we're done. All the bolts are off the box. I got to get that clamp right down there loose off it, and then we got the bottom bolt that's, hold on, there's another bolt that's way under here that we got to get, or nut I should say, and get it off, and then we should be able to slide the heater core out. I don't know how it's going to be to get this out, but we'll see once we get everything out. I hate to gonna pull the fender, but if it needs to be, it needs to be. So, but that's where we're at. It's Tuesday, December 10th, and we'll be getting the panel tomorrow and going from there. So when I get more, I'll turn it back on later. Alright, the heater box is out. I can't remember if I had this repaired. It was brand new, and I think I had it repaired twice after that. And the last time I watched the guy pressure test it, and the fucker, excuse me, and the sucker still leaks. So no more, no more. Besides, I reached my hand up into the blower cage, and I can't spin the blower motor, so You got towels under here, and Pat's coming by, and we are going to take the hood off and place it on top. I'm going to mask up this edge of the fender and or the door and that edge of the fender and this here, and I'm going to get ready to take this fender off if I have to. Hold on, where's the light? To get the rest of that panel off. So that's what we're doing. That's where I'm at. So it's going on. Pat's off in about 10 minutes and take him 30 minutes to drive. So I suspect to be him around 5:30, and we'll do that, and then I'll pick this up tomorrow. Taking this off, taking the fender off, or loosening it up. I don't want to take it all the way off because I have no place to store it without damaging it. So, and I don't want to take it all the way off until I get the plate. So that's where I'm at, and when I get more, I'll turn it back on later. All right, it's still Tuesday night, and Pat just left, and we got the hood off. We're going to, actually we'll probably take both fenders off, because then we'll go ahead and do the bottom window molding. And so next up will be tape the doors where the windows go, and or doors where the windows go. Tape the doors where the fenders go. Excuse me on that one. And all we need is take the headlight buckets out, the lower fenders off, disconnect. We're going to disassemble as least amount as possible to get the fenders off. So that's where we're at. We'll pick this up tomorrow. Everybody have a good evening. Later. Morning, tubers. It's Wednesday morning, and I've been thinking this through before I jump knee deep into this. When I put the front clip back on the car, I put the fenders along with the inner fender wells together and then put them in the car. For me, it was a lot easier. But now doing this, I have wiring on both sides of the car to deal with, a few other things, and I want to take apart as little as possible on this. So I'm thinking I'm going to have to do the fenders from the inner fenders and then hope it goes back that way. I'm going to tape up the door gap and the fender gap in there so I don't try not to chip the paint there. I'm going to leave the grill in. All I'm going to do is take the headlight buckets out, and I'm going to take those out as an assembly. Can't point, but there's a bolt right down there that goes from the headlight buckets to the grill that I'll take out, and we'll be able to remove the headlight buckets. The header panel will stay in place. The header panel will stay in place. We'll just undo the two 1/2-inch bolts from there. So I'm going to sit down and sort through this and figure out what to do. Reason why both fenders are coming off, the lower window trim goes across here, and so I want to get that back in. I'm going to put that in. This fender's, that passenger side fender's coming off, so I can get the heater box out and then get ready for the panel. The panel's been ordered, so it's coming from Summit, so we'll see what happens. And so the lower extensions have to come off, the wheel well molding has to come off. I'm going to leave the hinges right where they're at. And so we're just going to sort through this slowly. First, I got to organize this garage a little bit better because I have no place to store the parts. I'm thinking of storing the fenders on a stand out on the back patio and cover them up. And hopefully that'll do them good. And so it's still a little more thinking and trying to sort this out to figure out which way I'm going to go while the garage warms up. and then we'll see what we have to do as far as taking this off. The lower valence, yeah, I'm going to have to take that off because that ties in, or loosen that on either side because that ties into the lower fenders. So yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, and I'm going to probably take off as least as possible. So sitting there figuring this out and doing it, probably drop the front spoiler all the way down because it ties into both. I don't know yet. So that's what we're going to be thinking about and seeing what to do. I don't want to get this up on jack stands. I want to leave it on the ground. I want to leave the tires on. So we're just going to have to play this by ear. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. Hey tubers, just got the car off the jack stands. Had the front tires off. The chrome wheel well moldings are gone. The spoiler are gone. They're up there. I'm trying to find creative places where to put this stuff. Next up, we'll start on the headlight, both sides headlight buckets, get those out, and let's see, once we get those out, then we'll get that brace off, the cold air kit out, hinges will stay on, and then we'll tape everything up and drop the lowers, and then we'll get ready to take the fenders off. So when I get more, I'll turn it back on later. Alright tubers, it's around 4 on Wednesday afternoon. Got the cold air kit out, got the headlight bucket out, getting really creative and finding places to store stuff. There's the headlight bucket. There's the panel for the cold air kit. So tomorrow we'll do the lower fender extension, get that out, and those will go up there. Trying to save up there for all painted parts. Then we'll start taking the fender off, and we'll put them on the rack out in the back patio, and then we'll cover them up a couple of times with some of the sheets and stuff. And I had both fenders on the rack out there for a while when they were primed, but we'll do it this way. So this is fun. Thought once I put it together I'd never take it back apart. Oh well, such is the hobby. Alright guys, we'll pick it up tomorrow. Later. Morning tubers, it's Thursday morning, December 12th, and yeah, this will be the last day. I'll do this, we'll post it later on tonight, or put it on. But yeah, the right fender's coming off first, and then we'll start on the left side. I don't think I have to take the left fender all the way off, but then again, we'll see, because all I have to do is get in here, and we'll see. But we'll play that by ear once we get the right one off, but the right one definitely has to come off. So, and where we left off, if you remember, we got the headlight bucket out and the cold air kit's out. I started masking up the door last night, and we'll finish that up, and then we'll pull the fender and store it on the back patio. Summit just sent me an email. The panel will be here Saturday, so I could clean that off, put the panel back on, and start reassembling the car. So when I get more, I'll turn this back on later. One down, one to go. I just got an email from Summit. Panel will be here Saturday, so cool. That one, except for the cross brace, the upper valence, lower valence, the 2 bolts from on the radiator, And all the bolts underneath are done. The 2 bolts here are loose or out. So the lower extension, the lower valence header panel, those 2 bolts, the brace, then the 2 bottom, the 2 on top, and the 1 in the door, and that one's off. I don't dread putting these back on. I just might end up taking off the fender wells or inner fenders and putting them back on that way. It was a bear getting off this way. So when I get more, I'll turn it back on later. Alright, tubers, it's going on 3 o'clock. I got it off. It's sitting there. Brand new blower motor sitting there. So that's done. Headlight bucket's out. Got the lower extension to do. And then we can do, then we have the header bolts, these 2 bolts. All the bolts around the fender are done. These 2 are done. Then we'll have the top firewall bolt, the front firewall bolt, and the one inside the fender to do. I did test fit the chrome strip that goes here. And you can see that it lines up with the hole. So that's there. So that's the other reason we're taking the fenders off. I'm going to clean all this off before I start assembly again. I think I really scratched the paint up here when I took the other fender off. So I know there's going to be some touch up. But it is what it is. And I'm tired. So this will be it for this video. I will load it up. I have my live show tomorrow at 2:30 Vegas time. And then Saturday I'll be finishing off that fender. Saturday also the panel for that's going to come. So I wonder if I got any. I should have some. Yeah, some foam I can put on the back of the panel to insulate it, to keep cold air from coming in. So I got that, and man, am I tired. So we'll do that Sunday. Hope to start putting it back together. Sunday or Monday. I want it back together by next Friday, all back to where it was. And we'll go from there. The stereo came in for the car. T-Dub is leaving Texas with the rest of the stereo equipment and his family to come here for Christmas. He'll be here for 2 weeks. And he's leaving next Saturday, a week from the 14th. So he'll be leaving the 21st. And it's he'll break it up with the family. It'll be a 2-day drive, so I expect him here maybe Sunday evening, but we'll see. So that's where we're at. I want to thank everybody for watching, subscribing, and of course leaving comments. And disassemble, assemble, disassemble, assemble, disassemble, assemble. Yep, that's what we're doing here. Later.